Hello, it's been a while. Oh my goodness. Hopping around, finishing summer strong. I'm Jessica Weaver here. But I do want to pop on because I have quite a few cases, new cases, for those millennials out there. I am one. I understand that life, but money all of a sudden gets really complicated. And I want to talk about some of the trends and inefficiencies that we see happening with millennials because you're at this point of your career where you're making good money. You probably have multiple 401ks because you might have hopped around jobs for a little bit. You also might be at the point where you are now starting to inherit money. Maybe it's from grandparents or, unfortunately, from parents as well who have passed away. So now you're stepping into wealth that you weren't prepared for. We're going to see the largest wealth transfer ever from the baby boomers to their surviving spouses and then to the younger children, the millennials here. So what am I seeing right now? One, like I said, inheritance. Inheritance is a big one. Whether you are inheriting, even if you're inheriting a house in New Jersey, that's probably going to be around $1 million right there. Now, what's nice is some inherited money, you get a step up in cost basis. So let's say your parents bought the house for $300,000 and now it's worth $1 million. Well, what the government says is you get a step up from that $300,000 to that $1 million in cost basis. So if you sell, that gain is basically forgiven. Nice thing. So inheriting a house is very tax friendly. Life insurance policies, those are tax free as well, the death benefit. Inherited IRAs, not so much. Those are the most inefficient assets to inherit. So if you can talk to your parents ahead of time and see what can we get into a Roth IRA converted, or encouraging them to spend that money first. Inheriting a stock account, another great thing to inherit because again, you get that those gains are forgiven. You get a step up in cost basis. Doing that right now with one of our clients who passed away. So she's had a huge gain because the markets have done really well. She has a huge gain in her account. Well, they don't have to worry about selling and paying all that taxes. That gain is now forgiven for the children inheriting the stock account for it too. Also seeing where parents have passed on rental property, commercial property. This is another very big trend. And they use it because they to fund their retirement, let's say. And now you've inherited it with multiple people, your siblings, or maybe aunts and uncles, cousins. It might have been a large family kind of empire board as well. So like, what do we do with this? We are getting hit with taxes left and right. Well, for people that don't want the headache of rental property, it's not passive income. You still have to be active in it. You need to manage the properties, the tenants. There's things that go wrong. There's a lot of reasons people don't want to be involved in that. They're just too busy. Well, there are investment vehicles where you can do a 1031 exchange into, and it doesn't have to be another physical property, but certain investment funds and vehicles that still honor that 1031 exchange. So those are incredible options because what you're doing is, let's say the property is worth $1 million when you inherited it, and now it's worth $2 million. Well, instead of having to sell and pay tax on that money, you can now 1031 that full $2 million into a fund and earn interest on the full $2 million, not the amount that's left after taxes are paid. And then upon your passing, your heirs will get another step up in cost basis. So for generational wealth, this is a great option for people who have inherited rental property or commercial properties, or maybe you've built your own portfolio and you're ready to start to downsize it and move out of it. And ever since COVID, right, real estate properties have skyrocketed. So there's huge gains. You've been depreciating it all along. How can I unwind these in a tax efficient manner? This is your option. This is your fantastic option. All right. Another trend, multiple 401ks that we see happening here. You bounce around and now you might have 2, 3, 4, 5 between you and your spouse, old 401ks, and nobody's really managing it. So we call this lazy money. It's money that isn't being optimized. Nobody's managing it. It's just sitting in probably a mutual fund there. And it is costing you money. There are fees within 401ks. People don't see them, so they don't think they're there. But they are there. Of course they're there. People aren't just going to invest your money for free. Word too. You're also missing out on compounding interest on a larger amount. And it's the headache of keeping track of all of them. And people will come to us. Like, I keep finding these old little 401ks, $1,000, $5,000, $30,000, $50,000, but they do add up. So consolidating and organizing them and putting them into an IRA, converting it into a Roth IRA, that's going to save you thousands of dollars. And having it professionally managed is huge. So instead of them just accumulating all these random plans, having one strong, solid, well-diversified, actively managed plan is going to really help you grow your assets well. Last trend that we see happening here are stock options or random stock. I've been having conversations with some of my friends, and with the tariffs coming up, they see what's happening. They see layoffs in their companies, and they have these stock options. Like, what do? We know the stock is at a high price. We want to unwind these things, but the other markets are still strong. So understanding how your stock options work, what you're vested in, what's your tax bill. I just did some of that work with one of my friends, and we saw, okay, tax bill would be about $1,000, but then we can diversify. It's going to be worth it to pay that tax and to get out of these. Instead of accumulating this stock, you're so concentrated in this one position, anything can happen with that company, right? We've seen it with even strong companies where they'll have their downs and you don't want all your money sitting in that one stock. So being too concentrated. Or what I also see are these random stocks that maybe your parents put you in when you were like 13 years old, or from, college graduation gifts, from your bar mitzvah, all of those things. And now we don't know why we're still invested in them and they're not doing anything. So again, kind of going through, it's like spring cleaning of your portfolios and looking at everything. There we go. Looking at everything together. So what's the common theme here? Having a plan, sitting down, looking at all of these things, the random 401ks, the random stocks, your highly concentrated stock options from work, rental properties, inheritance, right? How is this all working together? Because it should be working together. And then as new money comes in or you switch jobs, it's so much easier to move forward with those next steps. Being able to, okay, I just left this job, we are going to consolidate. I'm moving here, we're going to consolidate. These stock options, for the next 3 years, we're going to start to diversify out of them. And positioning all of your assets properly for it too. So those are the trends that we have seeing here. Inheritance for millennials, this is going to be very big over the next few decades even. Rental properties, getting out of the rental property game. Since COVID, things have really started to taper there. People are not earning what they were projecting to earn during the COVID years with it, and they're realizing real estate is a much bigger headache in management than they thought. Again, it's not passive income. So what do we do with these? We have a lot of gain on the property. We've also depreciated the property, so what can we do? Like I said, we could do a 1031 into an investment fund that you don't have to manage, right? Getting rid of that headache for it too. Stock options and random stocks. Let's see, are these still working for you? There's some companies like J&J and the stock hasn't done anything for 10 years. 10 years. You don't want to just sit in it because you feel like you have to. You always have options there. Consolidating the multiple 401ks, getting them into a much better tax bucket, like a Roth IRA, is going to save you thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands. We've even seen millions of dollars in tax money. It's like new money. It's like giving yourself this huge bonus for retirement as well. Well, tune in tomorrow night for another episode of Women Behind the Millions, my TV show. We are looking at all of our amazing financial trendsetters from Financial Trendsetters 2.0. We are currently enrolling for 3.0. We have another book being added to the series. Cannot wait for these women to get out there and tell their stories. It's just going to be incredible. So see you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Women Behind the Millions.